Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest Lads Debate. Interfering with my manners for the very last time is your only mate.
Nice knife.
He actually does have a knife. And spectating
And I
this
snap
fight, unless it's made of hardcore Raccoon City steel, get one to prevent your chainsaw Larry from chopping off your head at a retail store near you. And joining us, spectating in this memeful fight, is Shawnee.
It's time we settle which of the memes is better.
Okay, do you want? I'll just settle this right here. Like, if we had to say which meme's more memorable, yeah, definitely Armstrong.
Okay, so that's a wrap.
Yeah, okay.
Good debate, everybody.
Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, jokes aside, yes. But who would actually win to the death? Win to the death? No, we don't. We don't want someone to win to die.
What?
Yeah, win to the death. Whoever wins, you die. What? I don't. Just Albert and Armstrong looking through their notes. That didn't say so in the contract. Too bad, bitch.
We have to purposely lose just to survive? What the fuck?
Albert goes like, "Oh no, my arm's broken," and Armstrong's like, "You have a healing factor." No, I don't. You can't prove that. All right. But speaking of Lads Debate, I didn't mess this up this time. I remembered. So, with our guest performance with Dimitri versus Undyne, Dimitri, he did take most of the wins with 78% and Undyne with 22%. Unfortunate. Personally, I do think Undyne would win the majority of it. But we have some comments. Some that I will address. First comment from Taurock. Here's how I remember it. On one path, Dimitri could defeat a dragon that can survive the power of 2 nuclear missiles filled with mystical energy. Meanwhile, on one path, you can kill Undyne with an actual plastic knife at best. Can't only get the real knife after they reach Asgore's home. That is true that they do get a plastic knife, but most of the weapons that you use in Undertale are pretty much toy-based, one you play as a child. Keep in mind though, if you didn't take the genocide route, you could defeat a monster that can destroy reality with this said weapon.
I think that's just the hard part with Undertale, which is like, how do we know which version to go with? Because Deltarune's not fully out to confirm anything.
Yeah, another comment from Yang the Insane. Personally, I was not a fan of this episode. Way too often it felt like allowing Dimitri to scale to anything purple bottle was seen as valid, while everything you can scale Undyne to was invalid, because reasons. Just felt a little bit biased. We do try and avoid a bit of bias, but we did kind of also address this in the Lads Debate that we've addressed this so many times. We're not averse to show. We don't actually care who wins these. Like, I mean, hell, for most of this one, me and mate just came up with this one just because memes would be funny.
Like, also, I don't know if she meant that purple was being biased in that case, but it's like we go back and forth to try to counter every point we try to make. It's the thing.
Yeah, I do agree that in the past we have contradicted ourselves. I can take the L on that one. Like, the most infamous one that people brought up to us was the Peacemaker versus Punisher one, whereas we didn't allow certain feats for Nemesis to scale to Albert because a lot of Albert's feats happen after the events of the game. But then we scale Punisher to Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man story takes place after the Punisher series, which, yeah, we do. And in a similar case of this, like, we scaled Dimitri to a lot of the characters like Byleth and what was the name of the Dragon Priest lady? I forgot her now. Rhea, which I still think is valid because you can canonically fight these characters as said characters. But we didn't allow Undyne to scale to Frisk, even though they fought Frisk on multiple occasions. I take partial blame that I didn't really word a lot of the things I said for Undyne well.
No, I did give you the staff benefit of the doubt when it came to Undying form, because I still think base form Dimitri would win, but I think Undying form makes this debate a lot closer.
This one I do have to kind of correct Purple on, which even Yang the Insane kind of corrected this. So I would read the whole comment. It's basically just explaining how much EXP Dimitri would have in terms of killing humans compared to how much Undyne has. Yeah, Purple, humans in Undertale don't compare to humans in Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem humans are relatively kind of similar to us, aside the ones that have the crest. Humans in Undertale have the ability to distort and destroy reality. Like, humans and Undertale don't mess around. And also, the whole leveling system in Undertale means level of violence. It's literally a pun. I mean, it's pretty much Undertale at this point. Like, the level means level of violence. Well, love, as it says there. So, depending on what your level is, that's how violent you are, and it also goes into your power. So, you know, if we go by that logic, Dimitri at level 99, like you showed on the thing, he should be able to do more than just destroy reality. But we know from, especially for me playing the games, he can't destroy reality. Because if he could, then there should be no route he dies. Aside, actually, no, yeah, if he was that powerful, he shouldn't have. It is confusing when using RPG characters, because how they do, like, stats is very different. Like, for instance, there's Pokemon that have similar stats to legendaries, but then you have to remember these legendaries can destroy reality, so it's like, are they on a similar power level? Like, what was that one Pokemon called? The one that looks like he's like leaning over. Is it like Slowking or something like that? Slacking, and that was it. Yeah, he's got stats that can rival a legendary. It just makes his stats stupid. But then you look into the lore of these legendaries, like, you know, Regigigas, this ginormous guy, worst Pokemon you could probably get in terms of legendaries. But lore-wise, he's a powerhouse. Like, he literally moves continents.
Yeah, he moved the whole last continent.
Yeah. So, it's really awkward when doing RPG characters, because it's like, oh, do we allow stats? But it's like, well, by this logic, if we included stats, Scizor is not as fast as, like, certain Pokemon, even though in the Pokemon anime, he's able to keep up with these Pokemon. So it's like... Well, it's like, you know... That's why
I go feats over stats.
Yeah, at least in terms of RPG characters, because it just doesn't make sense.
Although in, like, Pokemon's case, they have the Pokedex, which can, like, cite things, and, you know, you can pull from that.
Also, it's just, like, at the end of the day, most people agreed with the result we came up with in that video of Dimitri winning.
Yeah, I can totally see Dimitri winning a lot of fights. I do think Undyne has more ways to get around his strength and stuff like that. But hey, you know what? That's just me. I'm used to being in the minority when it comes to my opinion on things. So, but now, I guess I should also kind of say, even though it's technically not, this is our first Billy Ween video. Even though only one of these characters is from a horror franchise, even that's up for debate given what he does in the 5th game.
Hooray!
But yes, we've hyped this up, especially when we announced the guest one. Yes, we're doing Senator Armstrong versus Albert Wesker, the two meme lords when it comes to their franchises. And I think it's only fitting. The most popular meme starts off with Senator Armstrong, because frankly, just hearing this guy's story is just hilarious.
And also, to be fair, we announced him first.
That is also true. So, matey, take the floor. Not literally, we need it for the office.
Alright, mate, 10 minutes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just setting a timer for myself. Okay.
Alright, in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So, the world of Metal Gear Solid. We've got giant Mexican airmail nukes all over the place. We have cyborg ninjas whose only human parts are the top of the jaw up. Like, it's kind of a crazy series, right?
My dog agrees.
What kind of man would run for, say, the US president in this universe? I'll tell you who. Senator Stephen Armstrong. And yes, I am doing this again if you'll check our group chat.
Oh, whoops. I thought you were going to post it in the chat. I like that little extra work.
Yeah. So after the downfall of the Patriots, Armstrong came up with a way to, still profit from the war economy, and that being an army of cyborgs. And I won't lie, how he got this army, future army, is kind of fucked up. You know how Raiden started out like an orphan in a war-torn country?
Yeah.
Yeah, he he funded a project that involved kidnapping kids like that.
What was it?
Just making them into cyborgs, taking their brains out and putting them into like VR training devices to condition them into making them merciless killing machines.
Sounds like Mark Zuckerberg's future.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if they did something like that they approve of, they say, "Oh, you kill this guy," then they'll deliver a shot to pleasure centers in the brain. Yeah, it's pretty though. You know that line that Dr. Briefs has, where, "Oh, come on, you can't kidnap an orphan. They won't want it in the first place." Pretty sure Armstrong goes by that logic. So that was his plan, but he has even more tools to back that up, including the famous nanomachine, son!
And there it is.
Had to get in there some point.
Had to. Yeah. And these things let him go toe-to-toe with Raiden. Remember, the cyborg ninja who can lift and throw whole-ass Metal Gears cut one in half with a weaker cyborg body, by the way. Run fast enough to catch up to bullet trains. Like, he can keep up with and beat the shit out of Raiden. And we know how bonkers this guy is. Don't fuck with this senator.
There it is.
Yeah, and these nanomachines, like, not only increase his strength, strong enough to destroy the Metal Gear Excelsus with a single punch, and also, like, overwhelm Raiden at times. They harden in response to physical trauma, so he can't be hurt by conventional means. They also protect him from disease. That's going to be important, trust me.
No wonder he was a shoo-in for 20. No wonder he was a shoo-in for 2020. He's the only man who was immune to COVID.
Funny you bring that up, Sean. One of the lines that he has when talking down to Raiden was that he will, and I quote, "make America great again."
Are we sure his name's Stephen and not Donald?
Oh, if I had to choose between Armstrong or Donald, I'm choosing Armstrong.
Hey, there's a question for the chat.
It's like,
or comments, I mean.
Like, Sean, quickly pause the timer because I kind of want to actually make this point. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying like Armstrong's a good president, but if you were to tell me I had to choose between,
No, he is not.
If I had to choose between a man who could barely like form a sentence versus a man that could tear me in half if I don't vote for him, yeah, I'm gonna go for the man that could tear me in half. Like, I'm literally voting for him out of fear. I'm not scared of Donald Trump. Like, but this guy I'm scared of. And resume timer just so Mate could have his moment. I just thought of making a little funny joke.
Alrighty, mate. In 3, 2, 1, resume.
Right. And I'll also just send this last thing. Yeah. It's not exactly a secret. I mean, he's the final boss of the damn game, so he is the strongest person that Raiden's ever fought in canon. And remember, Raiden's strong enough to destroy a Metal Gear with a blow of at least 100 kilotons of TNT in a weaker cyborg body, and Armstrong's capable of overpowering the stronger one.
Wonder what his workout plan is.
Does he need one?
Honestly, with his nanomachines, son, I'm not so sure.
That's a fair point.
However, Armstrong did still have some respect towards Raiden. I mean, after all, the dude had nothing, and he made a life for himself just through sheer will alone. And believe it or not, that's actually kind of one of the things that the two have in common, although Armstrong had a better start in life. Hell, even to the point where after, well, Raiden was given the more powerful Murasama and, well, eventually ripped Armstrong's heart out, he still believed that the two were basically kindred spirits. That they will do whatever it takes to make the world a better place how they see fit.
I was about to say, if you're about to say make the world great again, Jesus.
No, I wasn't going to go there.
Thank you.
Nice little detail I've always loved with Armstrong is during the fight he'll constantly keep adjusting his glasses to go back in center. Like priorities.
Admittedly, well, yeah. I mean, you got to be able to see properly, and also like gotta look nice. I guess I don't know.
I just always liked it. Like he's just always there, like in the middle of fight, just like adjust. Let's go.
Yeah. And you know what? I think I'm more or less done.
Yeah, these two.
Alrighty.
These two.
We can talk about like more of the like feat stuff afterwards.
Sounds good. I stopped your timer. You had 2 minutes 45 left.
I'm actually really disappointed at no point you referenced that other meme that it's not official but has been like said by people. But
It's in one of the slides at least. It's in the
Look at the arsenal.
Oh wait, let me look at the arsenal. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. I just looked in the chat. Okay, you know what? Okay. I might try to see if I can use that during our debates. It just feels perfect.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up the last thing that was in there.
Genes of a culture. I actually don't know that meme.
Yeah, no, memes is just a thing in Metal Gear.
I mean, I know. I guess
a lot of it.
I guess that is the case. Like, yeah. But I don't know. I was thinking genes of a culture. I was like, is that a line you said? I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen. What was the last Let's Play I saw? That was it, Probuscus, or I think it was the Vegeta Renegade for Life. Still,
I was gonna say, hey,
still the best Renegade for Life video.
Speaking of memes, I think it's about time we talk about the RE character that is the most memeable with his eggs and shades.
Indeed. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, in 3, 2, 1, begin.
In the lovely city of Raccoon City live some dark secrets. Because it's America, there's always dark secrets going on. The world-famous pharmaceutical company, Umbrella Corporation, were experimenting with monsters. But during the same times as this, there were some murders going on near a mansion just on the outskirts of town. Coincidence? Maybe. A team of professional police officers of like ex-military, highly trained special forces were sent to investigate, led by the one, the only, Albert Wesker, there to throw his shades on this mystery, only to find out he was the one that was responsible for these deaths. Kind of. By accident.
What a twist!
Yeah, during the events of these murders, a team of like special forces stars went in to find out all the evidence they could find on this murder. What they actually found was monsters, zombies, zombie dogs, plants, giant tarantulas, and lizard people. And Chris and Jill, trying to find the remainder of their team, were looking to find out who was responsible for all of this. And they were with Albert Wesker for the majority of this, but he kept disappearing mysteriously. And I saw it, just a coincidence. But then, Jill stumbled upon a picture, and big surprise, Albert Wesker was the head of this research. And, hold on, Sean, pause the timer, because I actually do want to show this photo, and I'm just like, do you want to know how...
Okay.
Look at how 2000 this guy is. Like, even in this photo of his team of scientists, he wears his fucking shades.
Gee, I wonder who's the most shady guy in this picture.
Hey.
It's like, even when he's plotting world domination, he's in his shades. Even in this picture, he just stands out too much. It's like, come on, man. Like, there's a time for shades. This isn't one of them.
Also, Bill, I'll just quickly bring up missed opportunity to bring in another meme.
There's plenty of memes. There's plenty of memes.
No, when you talked about him disappearing, you could have gone coincidence. I think not.
Oh, I thought you meant like Resident Evil. Anyway, I'm going to resume time now. I just thought sharing this picture.
Right.
When I was replaying Resident Evil 1, I was just like, I forgot this picture. I need to show the lads in recording.
Alrighty, in 3, 2, 1, resume throwing shade.
Chris and Jill obviously confronted Wesker about this. Why did he do this? All their teams were eliminated, except for Brad because he's a pussy-ass bitch. And it turned out he was working on the Tyrant, the perfect organism that will obey Wesker as he starts his new world, a new world ruled by the powerful humans. And then he got impaled by it. Oops.
So he's dead, right?
Yeah. However, it turned out Wesker lived. Somehow.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, that you would only know if you played the Wii version of the game, or the Code Veronica game that was a spin-off only available on the Dreamcast on the time. I bet for people
Apparently, we would like to show you Wesker lives.
in spin-offs. Oh, wait, I saw what you did there. That was clever. So, it turned out Albert injected himself with a parasite, which, upon death, there's a 70% chance you'll not only live, you'll gain superhuman strength. I'm just like, as you do. There were some side effects, though. Not only did Wesker, become immune to diseases, to viruses, gain superhuman strength, he also kind of went a bit crazy with power. Because while he was originally doing this for profit, for selling the Tyrant to either a weapons dealer, a dictator, and stuff like that, he realised wealth isn't power. Power is power. However, unfortunately, in his path for this power, he was always intervened by Chris! And Chris would now and again always intervene with Wesker's plans. But one day...
It's like Chris. I'm going to pause the timer. I was going to make this joke.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
It's like Chris's Thawne, but actually you want to root for this Thawne.
And I shall resume timer now. However, one day, Chris intervened for his plans for the very last time. At the time. Because during their final confrontation, or at the time, Chris and Jill fought Albert, realizing he's not only gained new abilities, but he also potentially killed Jill. And for so many years, Chris thought not only his best friend was gone, but he was the last remainder of Stars. A team that consisted of 20 people was gone. Until one day, in the good old country of Africa, teaming up with Shiva, he learned A, Albert's alive, Jill's alive, and...
Called it.
Yeah, mate did call it in our playthrough. And also, Brad is alive. No, not really. He sucks. He did.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
This is when Chris finally found out the truth. Albert wasn't trying to conquer the world with viruses. He was in his way trying to save it. In Albert's own words, humanity is always on the brink of destroying itself. And to an extent, he is right. So,
yeah, he's not wrong.
So his only response to this, I'm going to send nukes across the world full of these parasites and they will infect the world for me to control. Hypocrite? Absolutely. Badass though? Yes. Chris and Shiva, sadly not Jill, which would have been such a better fitting finale than Shiva. I'm sorry, Shiva fans. It should have been Jill and Chris that finished him. During their final confrontation, Wesker fully lost his mind. He failed to launch the nukes, so instead, he subjugated himself to more of the parasite's creature, allowing it to fully consume him, and he became this monstrous thing. I mean, it's a Resident Evil game, like, every game ends with a giant monster at the end of it. Albert fully allowed himself to be consumed by the parasite, becoming the very monster he was trying to prevent for humanity by turning them into these monsters, so it's a little contradiction there, Albert. Eventually, though, at the bottom of a volcano that Kazuo would be proud of, He finally met his end, and he was sent into the plunging lava to be disintegrated and destroyed, finally avenging all the Stars members that lost their lives to this man years ago.
I was gonna say, that was after you guys showed the first time with the quick time event.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick time events in Resident Evil 5. However, some essence of Albert was still alive out there. The virus and the parasite were not destroyed. Parts of him that still remained were being used by different pharmaceutical companies that were trying to capitalize on Umbrella's downfall. Going to show, Albert was right about humanity. You destroy one horrible being, horrible corporation, another will rise to take its place. Whether it is by Umbrella or some other company, there will always be someone like Albert. However, not all is lost. Somehow, actually I'm not surprised, I mean, look at this man, like, who won't bang this man? Albert did leave behind some legacy. His son, Jake Wesker. And teaming up with Shiva, they put an end to the new corporation that would have tried to spread a new version of the virus and parasites, and Jake would forever go on to protect those in need, whether they're small villages being attacked by smugglers, or any other BOWs that come his way. You know, until Capcom decided to continue his story that they kind of left on a cliffhanger. Yeah, not much really happened with his son after the 6th game. But let it be said though that the Wesker bloodline will continue in a positive light. And yeah, that's actually a good point to leave on, to be honest.
Alrighty, and I'm going to pull this card on you already. It was actually Sherry, not Sheva.
Oh yeah, Sherry, sorry, not Sheva. Yeah, I will admit, Sherry wasn't as interested in the Resident Evil 6 as she was in the 2nd game. And she has a healing factor, so she's got that. It's just a shame she always needs a health kit. I do find that funny story-wise, she has a healing factor, but if you had a co-op companion, she still requires herbs to heal. It's like, you contradict yourself! But to be honest, I think it's kind of a good, like, I didn't want to just leave it at, like, you know, Wesker dead. I was thinking, you know what, why not mention his son, because he's kind of an underrated character. And frankly, I think his campaign was one of the few I could stomach in Resident Evil 6. Count us down.
The tales have been told about each of our characters. It's time to settle the lads debate in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay then, so there is one thing I'm willing to give Armstrong on. I think he is potentially stronger than Albert.
I can absolutely see it.
Like, however though, Albert's used to fighting foes stronger than him. After all, he's fought against tyrants, including genetically enhanced ones that were stronger than Nemesis. Keep in mind, Nemesis is strong enough and fast enough to fight another BOW where they cause not only a tornado, but an earthquake. And Albert killed 2 tyrants that were stronger than that.
Okay, and how strong are they?
Well, most tyrants, they're said, I'm going by the official Umbrella notes, they are the strongest BOWs in all of Resident Evil. Obviously, it comes with like either mutations they've had and stuff like that. Nemesis is said to have the Ouroboros like parasite. He also has a combination of the T virus mixed in there with him, similar to Albert Wesker. And as seen in like previous like games of Resident Evil, even the weakest versions of an Ouroboros can react and block a laser beam heading their way. And this is the weakest one. Nemesis is stronger than those. And Albert can kill like tyrants with his bare hands, or with his trusty, if I can get the image, I probably should have just saved this, Samurai Edge. When it posts. There it is, the Samurai Edge. It might just look like a little pistol, and it is, but it can come with armor-piercing rounds, auto mode, and even acid rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, and I even looked this up, like how strong is acid? It can be used to melt titanium. So here's my question to you, mate. How strong is the nano machine, son?
Well, I can actually give an answer to that. Remember when I said that Raiden sliced the Metal Gear in half?
Sorry, the Coke went down the wrong hole. Continue.
Oh, I know the feel.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Metal Gears are made from carbon nanotubes, and with how those things are made, their tensile strength is stronger than even the toughest of metals, like titanium. Raiden, with his high-frequency blade, could cut through these. Armstrong and his nanomachine son was able to catch it, mock him saying "nice knife," and break it with his bare hands.
Well, I think you made that the fuck up. But
No, it's a thing. Look up the cutscene if you don't believe me.
Okay, I just felt like throwing that meme.
Well, at least.
Unlike Armstrong, I can back it up with a source.
Well, I'm going to pull off my shades and go, you should have brought more. And then I'm going to throw my shades just for you to catch them. Still one of the most epic things from Resident Evil 5. Don't you remember he threw them at Chris and Chris grabbed it?
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Well,
been a while.
Here's actually a fun fact about Albert, though. You know, he can actually penetrate metal that is stronger than titanium. So I have to ask, mate, do you know what the metal is used that encases nuclear bombs?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure you'll tell me.
It is uranium. Yes, uranium metal, which I really thought uranium was actually like a chemical that was put in it, but it turns out no, there's actually a metal called uranium. It is actually said to be stronger than titanium or on a similar level depending on how thin it is. Now, of course, it makes sense. You're storing, you know, a nuke. It makes sense you want the strongest material, keeping that, you know, nice and steady.
Mm-hmm.
During the Resident Evil 5, when Albert fell from a jet plane, I should say, which the jet plane that they were actually flying was moving at Mach 30. Which, if you don't know, that's cause it's a fighter bomb jet. Those are meant to move like really fast, breaking the sound barrier and everything. He fell from that and didn't have any scars. But after getting up from that fall, he got pissed off and he punched through it just to release the Plagas on him. So he can punch through metal that is stronger than titanium. And it was not like, oh, he powered it up. He just he stood on top of it, punched downwards casually while still staring at you. So he's definitely strong enough to smash similar metals that Armstrong is said to be strong against. Also, he's so fast it appears like he's teleporting. Remember how we were confused at how he was moving? It turns out he can move so fast it appears like he's teleporting. He can even leave after images of his speed.
I assume that's just a side effect of the virus, right?
Indeed. In fact, do you remember that in Code Veronica, let's play down in the description below, there was another BOW that Albert confronted. Her power was she could just make things combust. Just instantly. She could just make things burn up in just her sight. She tried to get Albert with it, and he outrun combusted flames. Yeah, and this isn't
interesting.
Like, it's not even a slow motion bit. Like, he was just moving that fast, things were appearing like it was stopped. With the only thing that was following him was the flames trying to catch up to him. And in fact, it's even stated if he actually chose to fight Veronica, he could have actually won, but being a typical villain, he was just like, well, Chris, I bid you farewell. He didn't actually say it like that, but I'm just picturing him doing that classic villain, like, moustache twirling, yeah.
Well, that then begs the question about how fast is Armstrong?
Alright, so I'm going to be bringing up Raiden a lot because, okay, Armstrong, he only appears, like, for one fight in the game, so yeah, a lot of it comes from scaling to Raiden.
I think there was also a DLC. I could be wrong about that. I swear there was like a sad DLC.
There was.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay, well,
don't worry, it's just basically a
Raiden
repeat of that boss fight. Don't worry, you're not missing much.
okay. So Raiden's able to swing his sword fast enough, and in one of his, like, heightened modes where it looks like rain is just stopped. Like, he can swing his sword that fast, and yeah, Armstrong is able to blitz him at times. Like, in the cutscenes, he beats Raiden down. And so, hey, if Raiden can't react to him, then I think it's safe to say to scale Armstrong to stuff like that. Plus, it's the same Raiden who, in a weaker cyborg body, could run after a bullet train. And you know how fast those things are? Very.
How fast, out of curiosity? I'm not even trying to sound bullet, so I just sound bullet. I'm actually kind of curious. I actually don't know how fast a bullet train moves.
The top speeds can be about 200 miles an hour.
Oh. That's actually kind of cool, not gonna lie. Though, Albert has survived...
Remember, that was in a weaker cyborg body.
Yeah. Though, remember, Albert survived falling out of an aeroplane moving faster than that. Remember those jet planes that can move, like, at sound-breaking speeds? Although, actually, speaking of that, did you know he can actually strike with a palm strike that creates a shockwave? To be able to throw a punch that can create a shockwave, you have to be moving at 760 miles per hour. How Jill managed to survive that to the gut, I have no idea, but it's Resident Evil, just ignore logic. I mean, it's the same game where Chris punched a boulder.
I'm pretty sure Armstrong's also able to make shockwaves by either flexing, or he was able to split lava by punching the ground.
Funny enough,
I mean, looking at your feats thing, you did say it was he can strike the ground so hard to split lava. So yeah, it is that.
Albert can actually also do that in his boss fight. In fact, with the Plaguers, he can even create like a miniature plague tornado that starts shattering like lava around you. Although, here's actually... I also wanted to kind of bring this up, mates, because you mentioned how these nanomachines amount them to be immune to diseases.
Yeah, I remember coming across that and thinking that's oddly specific, but hey, it helps here.
Oh, yeah. What if I told you it didn't? So, allow me to get very scientific here, people. What Albert has, he does have essences... I don't know why I'm actually like pretending to point at a graph, I don't. I'll put that in post. So, a virus is what Albert does have. He has an essence of the T virus, and as well as the G virus, which allowed him to heal. However, that's not his main ability, at least in terms of Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 5. He has a parasite. Parasites aren't diseases, they're living organisms that live in human tissue or any other organic flesh. So, these don't have to spread to you, they have to be inside you or even make contact with you to spread. And the Ouroboros, yeah, they are a deadly parasite at Albert's disposal. Not only can he actually disperse long tentacles that can grip around you, they multiply instantly. They're like kind of think of it like a hive mind, or you know, like ant colonies where many ants are being born at the same time. It's like the workers are working and the others are dying. That's how the Ouroboros act. In fact, mate, you could confirm this with the boss fight we once had, where we'll find this giant worm monster. Every time we shot a piece of him off, a new part just regrew itself instantly. That wasn't regenerating.
And we didn't even get up on the Hydra's back.
I know, man. But it wasn't regenerating, it was parasites reproducing. And if a human comes in contact with... I know, right? It's basically, mate, we were fighting a worm orgy, those two boss fights. But while those worms were busy pleasuring themselves, every organic flesh that... Because during the one segment we run away and it started attacking like either weaker Ouroboros or dead soldiers, they were being instantly wrapped around and pulled into this amalgam of flesh. And even in the Albert boss fight, if hit by one of these parasites, or knocked into the lava, which happened a lot, yeah, these worms immediately start wrapping around you and start, like, consuming you, making you part of it. So what's to stopping Albert just moving around, attaching one of these creatures on his back, and suddenly they start taking control of him, making them one?
Well, I think the nanomachines would actually be able to protect him against that because, well, they just show up like all around, like that thing where like his skin becomes all black. Yeah, that's the nanomachines protecting him from like, well, whatever. Like whether it be a fury of punches from Raiden or even some of his sword swings. And of course, like augmenting his strength, like when he was able to destroy the remnants of a Metal Gear. You want to know how big this Metal Gear was?
Yeah, actually, go on ahead. So I'll have a
Go.
point.
So here's Raiden looking at it.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just thinking of a mechanized Mr. Krabs because it's standing like a crab.
It looks like it's at least somewhere between 10 and 20 Raidens tall.
However, mate, isn't it true Raiden did damage it heavily to the point it was crumbling already?
Well, yeah, and yet Armstrong was still a tougher boss fight.
Yeah, I know. It's still an epic boss
Well,
fight.
Yeah, and from just one punch from Armstrong, he like destroyed the rest of it. Like they were fighting on top of it, punch on the ground, like surrounded by fire.
Here's my two counter. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Well, I'll let you have your counter argument because I was about to ask a question.
Two things, mate. One, Albert's stronger than Nemesis. One, this is confirmed in a quote in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Not Infinite, Marvel 3. And if you want to say, oh, that's non-canon, it's also stated that Albert is one of the most dangerous BOWs next to Tyrants. Now, obviously, there's been some more bad BOWs after Resident Evil 5 and 6, but in that time, Albert was considered dangerous. And keep in mind, Nemesis, and I'm going by the original canons, that's where Resident Evil 5 continues from, Nemesis was able to fight William Birkin and they were creating earthquakes. A whole city was crumbling from their battle alone. And Albert's stronger than that. And the other counter argument I was going to give, something you forgot to mention about these nanomachines, what is the thing that they respond to?
Well, they harden in response to physical trauma, and...
Which parasites aren't physical trauma. Physical trauma means when you're striking something, like a punch. That's physical trauma. However, me, if I was being weird, creepily moving my fingers around your arm, that's not physical trauma, that's just me touching you. So, what the parasites don't attack the physical body, they get around them and start fusing into them. So,
right, but the nanomachines also protect against like disease and illness and that sort of thing.
But parasites aren't diseases.
At least
they're living organisms.
There's at least a debate that the nanomachines might actually be able to resist it. At least for a time, allowing Armstrong to just kill Wesker.
But that actually gets my main point about Wesker's, but I'll let Sean have his thing first.
So I have a question for Bill, because I remember this in RE5. Didn't Wesker need multiple doses just to keep his powers?
He has to take them every day. Pretty much think of it like breakfast. He always has to have an injection at the start of the day. Otherwise, the Ouroboros will take over and he'll become like a monster, which he does accept the virus or the parasite at that point. And, you know, he became a madman just screaming, Chris! I still love that last line he screams while he's falling into lava. It's so funny.
Well, then there's the same question for Armstrong. Does he need like a regular dose to keep the nanomachines, or is that permanent?
As far as I'm aware, they're just in his body.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Assuming this whole fight will take... If this fight went on for an entire 24 hours, then it would be a case like, oh, can Armstrong outlast Albert to have him need the doses? But again, the doses keep him from turning into the monster which he becomes in the time. So basically, if you did wait for the virus or plague to take over, he would turn into the final boss fight, making the challenge even harder because his strength's increased by double. And also, here's the thing that Armstrong doesn't have that Albert has, a healing factor. Albert's had his neck broken, he's been stabbed through the chest, both when he was human and when he has the virus. He's been shot in the head multiple times by Chris and Shiva during the boss fight, which we totally won. I'm just saying, game, we won that boss fight. But he was all like, I'm being bored, I'm out. I mean, canonically, yeah, he wasn't being harmed at all. But, you know, gameplay-wise, me and mate won that. I don't care what the game says. We won that. Especially that Jill boss fight. That boss fight sucked so much. It took 20 minutes. Anyway, rants aside. Yeah, so he could be stabbed. He could have his bones broken, his arms broken, and he could just heal. Armstrong, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have a healing factor.
No, he doesn't, because the nanomachines just make him that impervious.
However, it is also true, though, he has no ranged attacks, aside picking up rubble and throwing it. Albert has guns. In fact, in the Mercenaries mode, which you play as Albert briefly to fight off, like, villagers after getting, like, a mission, he has, like, shotguns, machine guns, grenade launchers with acid rounds, flashbang rounds, incendiary rounds. So he's well stacked up with weapons as well.
Yeah, I'm just pretty sure the guns aren't going to do anything to Armstrong.
I feel like flashbang rounds will at least daze him, because he is still human.
I mean, it might daze him, but then you wouldn't be able to actually hurt him to compensate.
I do think using the parasite, you can just get around him. Because remember, he doesn't have to penetrate his skin. The parasite can go in the ear, in the mouth. Maybe they could do the Thanos thing. I don't like to imagine that. That's a bit too kinky for my liking. But the fact is, the parasite, and you got to think, they multiply as soon as they get a hold of you. So they just have to go into his body, and I don't think the nanobots can protect his internal organs, as Raiden was able to rip out his heart.
Well, yeah, after cutting a hole in him with his high-frequency blade, specifically the stronger Murasama.
Yeah, but that's actually another thing. Another thing. I don't know why I went very posh there. That's another thing, sir. Sonny Jim. Nanomachines have a limit. And that's not even just a case of Armstrong. In all of Metal Gear, nanotech has a limit to how much trauma it can take before it wears out. And even Raiden suffered that.
Yeah, but I mean, Raiden is someone who has a sword, which is basically like machine kryptonite.
Even if you don't... oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hell, he even had his own high-frequency blade, which I repeat, sliced a Metal Gear in half, which was around like 100 kilotons of TNT in a weaker body. Armstrong broke it effortlessly.
Impressive.
It did nothing to him, and he just snapped it, calling it a cheap knife. Well, he didn't say cheap knife, he just said nice knife and then broke it, but anyway.
I think cheap knife would have actually been better.
When he broke it, it became a cheap knife.
Basically, I mean, the whole fight was basically this until he got the Murasama.
Yeah, I still love the memes that came around. That were great. I love it. Someone even done.
I apologize for the quality. It was the best I could find on Google.
I'll put a good quality on screen. No, I have made. Let me cook.
Thank you.
Do you know what? Funny enough, someone's actually done like a Leon versus Chris one of this. And it's just Leon punching like a muscular Chris. It's
nice.
Great. Okay, stop with the memes.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
How much more time do we have to see him get punched in his belly?
Yeah. But yeah, I think with strength like that and speed able to keep up with and even like overpower Raiden, then could just outspeed Wesker, overwhelm him, boom, take the win.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Albert's much faster, and even then, he's pretty durable even without nanomachines. Keep in mind, Armstrong needs nanomachines to be durable, because without it, he'll die. Albert can survive falling from like a Mark III fighter jet, and he's completely fine. And heck, when he fully accepts the parasite, he's got a forever parasites forming and protecting his body. Literally, the only way to kill Albert in that state is to completely disintegrate him. Like, you cannot leave anything left of him. Hence why they threw him into a volcano.
Alright.
Right, but matching Raiden, I think he would be capable.
We're gonna stop real quick.
Oh, really?
You guys have 2 minutes left, so I'll give each of you 1 minute to make a final case, starting with me.
Okay.
Mate, are you ready?
So I was looking at the time, I was like, wait, what? I've still got 3 minutes on here. Okay, yeah.
Mine says 2 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll go short.
Mate, are you ready?
We'll record long enough.
Alright. So yeah, overall, I think there's a case for Armstrong winning. Like, he's able to keep up with Raiden in speed and power, even like just physically overwhelm him. And I keep saying, in a weaker cyborg body, Raiden is able to lift, throw, and slice Metal Gears in half. Like, up to like 100 kilotons of TNT. He's able to move like so fast that raindrops are just still in the air. With that kind of speed and power, I think he can just like overwhelm Wesker and just leave nothing left. It is possible that the virus could do something, but I feel like the nanomachines would actually be able to hold it off long enough for him to kill Wesker, and then who knows, the virus might make him even more powerful. And make him even more of a senator you don't want to fuck with.
Oh, nice.
All right, mate, that was a valid argument. Bill, you have 1 minute, but I just want to ask this question real quick, because, yeah, Bill, didn't you say technically even if you die and have the virus, there's a 70% chance to come back?
Oh, no, that's when Albert first got the virus. So when he first got the virus... So
wouldn't that logic apply to Armstrong?
No, so, again, let me quickly correct this. So the T virus and the combination of the G virus that Albert took would give him that chance. If he did actually die, then the virus would have died in his body as well. But because he came alive, the virus, it's really confusing the lore. So when he came alive, he got a different virus in his body because it mutated, combining the two. And then he injected himself with the parasite. Well, he didn't inject it, he had to have injected the parasite. I don't like to imagine what he did with the parasite. He either ate it or he shoved it somewhere it shouldn't be.
Alrighty, Bill. You have 1 minute to make your final case for Wesker. Are you ready?
I is ready, fam. I'll go from posh to slime.
Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
Alright, first off, mate, I want to keep correcting this. He's not using a virus when he's infecting people with these diseases. It's a parasite. It's a living organism that can wrap around you. It doesn't have to bite you or pass on a disease. It's a living creature that he has control of. And he has a healing factor on like Armstrong. You punch him through the chest, he'll heal from it. You burn him, he'll heal from that. Not only that, I think they might be even in speed because, well, Albert's capable of moving so fast, time looks still to him. Again, when the lady was trying to combust him with flames, he was moving so fast, the flames were barely able to catch up to him and burn him. And he was able to escape from the creature, and again, it was even stated he could have defeated this character. With his healing factor, multiple weaponry, and the fact he can punch through metal that is stronger than titanium, that according to the nanomachines, they're just slightly stronger than titanium from how you said it. So I think Albert could even land a killing blow, just a penetration through the chest and just do
Time is up.
Damn it. Sorry, I wanted to make this quick joke. And penetrate Armstrong in the same way Raiden did. And... oh, actually, I didn't really have a joke in mind. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I thought I had one.
So
I thought it was going to lead to one.
I have come to a conclusion. There's no denying Armstrong is definitely stronger than Wesker, but Wesker has fought people that have been stronger than him before and won. Whereas Wesker is faster, but Armstrong has fought people that are faster and held his own. So, surprisingly, strength and speed really can't determine who wins this fight. It mostly comes down to if Wesker has any means to penetrate the nanomachines. Because there's no denying Armstrong can put Wesker down, but surprisingly, the parasites contain a virus, I believe is how it goes in Resident Evil lore, most of the time.
Are you asking this or are you
Bill,
just making a conclusion?
I'm asking to double check that, Bill.
So, the parasites control you. They basically go into you and control you. I'm not sure if it's confirmed they have a virus. It's just that, as it's stated in the lore, all the logs I had to read. I actually went into our old save profile just to find the logs that me and mate kept finding. It said that what the parasite does, it takes control of you. Think of it like the fungus monsters from The Last of Us, where the fungus sort of like controls your inner organs and then eventually controls the body. Think of it like that.
So here's a fun fact for everybody. I only know this for an upcoming Lads debate. So could Wesker's virus actually penetrate the nanomachines? The answer's no! Viruses are smaller than diseases. Viruses are need to make diseases, hence why a parasite potentially needs a virus to be considered deadly enough. And since viruses are lesser beings than diseases, the nanomachines would surprisingly block out the virus and parasite, making the winner of this last debate Senator Armstrong.
I'll take it. I do kind of question that, because again, the parasite just needs an opening on the body, which they could just go into the mouth and ear.
So the thing with it, I only know this because of the last debate we have upcoming. Viruses and parasites are smaller than diseases and are needed to make the disease in the first place. That was from a medical article I found from 2020, oddly enough.
I'm not sure if that applies to Resident Evil's logics. They kind of go balls to the wall, but you know what, that's fair enough. I do kind of.
I mean, he's using science like Death Battle would.
Yeah, fair enough. I do kind of wonder what about the healing factor though, because again, you have to completely disintegrate Albert to kill him.
Wesker got blown up by 2 rockets and standing in lava. Armstrong's punch is definitely stronger than 2 rockets, and we've already talked about how you can just split lava and make lava with big craters. There you go.
Yeah, I'll kind of accept that. It's kind of confusing, but whatever. The mean lord wins, and we'll take it.
Yeah, Wesker definitely had versatility on his side, but again, no surefire way to penetrate that armor.
So my argument for the nanomachines was that the parasites wouldn't act as like traumatic, like physical trauma. It would just be like, you know, having something go up your arm. But hey, it was a fun debate. I had fun with this. Yeah, I actually hope people also had fun with this one, because the amount of memes that we spoke. I feel like we need to have a sun counter, because we said sun a lot.
Yeah, I'll also just say, like, when we first threw this out there and just thought, it'll be funny, and when I started looking into nanomachines, I saw they can protect against like diseases and the like, and I was just like, huh.
That
interesting.
That ended up being a bigger factor than you think.
Yeah, I think these two are actually surprisingly evenly matched. I'd say this one's more even than Kazuha versus Albert.
Yeah, congratulations on your win.
Yay! What do I win? Cash?
I'm not editing another cookie for you, so...
You have to ask Bill for the cash since you beat him.
Wait, is it like Pokemon? I win, so he gives me money.
Hey up, Bill.
I tell it. Here's your victory. It means nothing. You lose. Well, actually, you win. Good day, sir.
Alright, I'll take it.
But, okay, so first video of Billy Ween. Not very horror themed, but we do have a scary matchup coming up now, people, for Halloween. So, Sean kind of foreshadowed it, and it makes sense to do this creature as the first opponent. The greatest zombie game of all time, Left 4 Dead, gave us one of the greatest zombie bosses of all time, the Tank. A behemoth of a monster, containing muscles, it can throw cars in the air. So what better zombie to fight him with than the chainsaw zombie from Resident Evil 4? I don't know, Sean. I think you're going to lose this one. I'm sorry.
All I'm going to say is, folks, you may not think these characters have much, but there's a deeper science to this tank than you realize.
Yeah. For real, though, we're only doing this just because the gimmick is these two are like the sub-bosses that always appeared when you're about to complete an objective, so that's literally it. But it's a shame to do this, because I don't want to do the tank this dirty. But hey, you know what? We all agreed to it, so we're finally doing it. The tank versus the tank.
Prepare to eat your words, Bill.
I don't know, Sean. It looks pretty one-sided. So, the tank versus chainsaw.
So you're saying you're going to cut down Sean's argument?
Indeed. He might soar away when he sees my conclusion. Yeah, so Chainsaw Larry's actually getting an official episode, because why not? Yeah, and heck, if you want to see some videos of these characters in action, maybe check out our Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil 4 videos. With all that said and done, mate, fun debate. We need to do more meme fights. They're funny. And hey, do you agree?
I'll admit, I had so much fun making the Death Battle like cards.
Fair enough. So, with all this said and done, thank you all so much for watching. And if you want to see previous Lads debates, down in the description below. And do you agree or disagree with this outcome? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed what you saw here, be sure to share the video around. Keep the channel growing. Farewell, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
And you better subscribe, because you can't hide forever.